Amilya, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I just love listening to your voice. I literally just walk around just listening to your voice. So thank you for having me. I'm so excited about being here. And I am just as passionate about you are about small business owners. It's an amazing opportunity right now. So I love that we're leaning in.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amilya. Let me uplift you. If I get some of this wrong, you can correct me. But Amilya Antonetti is one of the most sought after human behavior and strategic advisor experts in the world. She's done so much. But what's really cool that you all will like, she has appeared as a regular business and behavior expert on the Oprah Winfrey Show, the Steve Harvey Show, my personal favorite guy who I can't wait to meet one day, and Dr. Phil. She's built billion-dollar companies, sold billion-dollar companies, but her passion, I must say, over the last several months, especially getting to know her, it's for us regular peeps. And she said yes to Ramon. So, Amilya, thanks for joining us today. Let's get right
Together
to it.
we rise. I say this all the time. Together we rise.
I love it, Amilya. Amilya, listen, I have a lot of questions to ask you, Amilya, for sure. But I think that I would like to give you space, if you don't mind, because you do this so well. Just talk to us, Amilya. You've been here for a bit. There's small business owners that are struggling. They're trying to grow. What's your advice, Amilya? What have you said in the last few months that you think everybody needs to hear? Because I know you dropped some amazing gems. Do you mind, Amilya, if I could just give you the space? The floor is yours.
I am so transparent. So I think that first and foremost, what is really hard for all people, right, but especially small business owners, is that from where you are to where you desire to be, although we tell ourselves the myth, it's time, it's money, it's resources, it's all of these outside elements, it's really not. What's between you and where you want to go is a behavior. It 100%. All of the companies, 53,000 employees, all of big famous people that I've worked on, the root of the problem was always within their own head. Mm-hmm. And then it's easier for our spirit to say, if I had more time, if I had more resources, if I had more money, if I lost 10 pounds, if I married a better person, if. It's none of those things. It's internal. And that's why it's such a challenge, right? And so what you have to understand innately about human behavior, like just baseline 101, is that each of us are rooted in either pain or gain. It's why most people avoid conflict like the plague, because conflict is rooted in pain. That's really what we're saying. It's why we, I do conflict resolution and people go, oh God, that stuff. And I'm like, not really. It's the biggest key to unlock everything, right? It's to get into a state of flow of like what's really going on in conflict. All conflict means is that your expected response doesn't align with it is, right? So I was expecting a yes and I got a no. So I'm in a momentarily state of conflict. That's all that's happening. That's it. So the tool is to move from that to a gain. Now, some people are wired innately by gain. We live in a state of gain, but that doesn't mean that you can't learn how to transform from one to another. I will say most business owners, especially small business owners, 2 out of 3, if you want to talk about stats, are wired in a state of pain. So why most businesses fail is the pain tolerance gets too high and they opt out. It literally is a pain equation. It's not that they didn't have enough money. It's not that they have that. The pain got too hard and they're like, I'm out. And so these behavioral modification of how to move from one to another is what unlocks success. How do I stay in a state of gain longer than anybody else? And then you win, right? I can stay in gain forever. Doesn't even matter what's happening. I'm in a state of gain. And so those are the little games that we can talk about because I think it's immediate gratification, but immediate tool building for the small business owner, right? And so I shared a lot of these at Grow for God, and it was amazing how many people came up to me like, oh my God, the pinky swear. Oh my God, the 4 rules. And I'm like, yes, these are called behavior modifications. They're not scary. They're easy to implement. And right away, it puts you in the state of gain, which is a state of flow and nothing, money, resources, right? Conflict and gratitude can never exist at the same time. Never. Never, ever, ever. So if you're like, I want more money,
Okay.
but you're in a state of pain, not a chance in hell.
So what do you do then? Well, let's take that example. I want more money. I'm in a state of pain. So what do I do with that then? How do I, what do I do?
Yeah. So most people, and I listen to Breakfast with Champions all the time in Clubhouse, right? Most people are experienced collectors. They collect an experience, they collect an experience, they take a lot of notes, they collect a lot of experience. Okay. You're collecting pain. Because what is it subconsciously doing? All these people are doing all this stuff and I'm not. So it's a pain of pain. It's FOMO, right? It's the worst place for you to be.
Right.
Is reinforcing in your head all of the note taking, right? Because remember, if you hear it and then you write it down, it imprints, and you're imprinting, I'm not good enough. That's not working.
Right.
But if you take the exact same thing and that exact same experience, and yet now you analyze, what am I getting out of it? Right. So even if I say, okay, between you and I are hanging out.
Yep.
For no reason at all, you turn around and punch me really hard in the face. Not like you would ever do that. And I would go, well, that's interesting. What am I learning from that? Well, if you push Ramon a little too far, he gets physical. Or maybe I go, well, he's a physical person and that doesn't work for me. That experience for me is a gain. I am so happy you did that because now I know. So if you're learning from every experience, you're not attached to the outcome. If you're not attached to the outcome, you're in a state of gain. If you're not attached to the outcome, money flows to you. But if you're going, oh my God, I have to get this deal. Oh my God, I have to get this deal. Well, you're attached to the outcome. It's not going to happen. Right? You're spraying and praying. And so what I'm trying to understand is that the mind sets the intention, but the body in alignment from here to here sets the energy of what can happen. And so small business owners, because we're all over the board, right?
Yes, we are. I am Amelia. Raise my hand. I'm all over. That's
all
me.
over the board. Well, that creates chaotic energy, conflicting energy. And that means you make money and it goes right out the door. Comes in, goes right out. Comes in, right out. Because there's no stability in the experience. But when you ground and say, these are, now it depends on who you listen to. So Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, I can go on and on, say there is one thing that you need to do, time blocking, right? I use the power of 3 for a lot of reasons. I love the trilogy. That's kind of my shtick. It's my thing. So 3, I accomplish 3 things without fail every day. If you have more than 3 things, right, on that list, you're guessing, because the list is like the never-ending hallway. So when you have a list that has more than 3 things on it, you are subconsciously in a state of pain, because what are you saying to yourself? I never can get this done. I never finish. I never accomplish. You live in a vicious cycle that's saying you're abandoned. You're not good enough. Or you're not worthy. That's what that to-do list is listing. I keep a to-done list. Done.
Wow.
Right? So these things are done. So what I say to people to build confidence, to be able to stick in it longer as a business owner, always measure backwards. Don't measure from today to tomorrow. That's a state of failure. That's a state of less. That's a state of pain. You're saying, if I lose 10 pounds, then I'll be happy. That's measuring forward. If I get more money, then I'll be successful. Horrible. No successful person does that. If you measure from today into reality of yesterday, yes, I got up this morning. Woohoo. Yes, I took care of my hierarchy of needs. Woohoo. Yes, I made the call that I need to. You're in a state of gain of actualities. Right. Always measure backwards keeps you in a state of gain. Always learn from every experience keeps you in a state of gain. Here's my other big one. Never solve a problem alone. Never, ever do island thinking. The minute conflict, I go, woo, that's an outcome I wasn't expecting. I get a buddy. I'm like, hey, Ramon, you're actually a better networker, salesperson guy than I am. Let me run this thing up by you. What are you thinking?
But this, Amelia, one thing, this means though that you have to surround yourself with people that you trust. Let's take that example. Amelia's going through something in her company, whatever it is. She's not going to post that in the New York Times or put it on Facebook.
No. I don't have to trust you. If you are the expert, I always go to the expert.
Okay. Okay.
I don't go to people who are make-believing or pretending to be an expert or
Sure.
guessing and figuring it out. I go to the biggest subject matter expert I know.
Got it.
And I ask the person who is actually doing what it is I want to do. It doesn't mean I trust them. It doesn't even mean that I like them and I want them to come to dinner. It means they have demonstrated with real receipts they're doing what I'm trying to accomplish. So I'm like, hey, yo, this is what I'm struggling at. How do you see? What would you do next? And then I analyze, why was my instinct to do this and their instinct was to do that? So I'm in the experience learning. Remove all that emotional BS. Emotion has nothing to do. I don't care if you trust me. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I can open up my bank account. I can walk you around my houses. And guess what? Italians say this, open up your wallet. I'll tell you how smart you are.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have to like me? No, most people don't like me. Most people don't like me, and that's okay. But they respect me because I'm very good at what I do.
That is true, Amelia. I'm curious then, Amelia, and I see the questions coming in. This chat is being lit up. Somebody's like, I want to go to Amelia's home right now. Stop the conference room. Let me
Come
go to
on
her
over.
house right now.
A lot of people have been here. A lot of people from Breakfast with Champions have been here.
Yeah, so Amelia, indeed, that was a flying party. So indeed, listen, how do people start, Amelia? And I say this, talk to the Ramones of the world. I see my friend Tara's here. You know Tara as well. You know the name.
Love
you know,
Tara.
she
Love
knows,
me some Tara. Yeah.
She knows these things. But Amelia, as you may get a sense, Ramon is that tactical, practical guy. I've only been newly, Amelia, introduced to this way of thinking largely because of Breakfast Champions. So my point being, talk to the person how we start, how we unlock, if this is relevant to it, our genius. Yeah. How we unlock this, those who are
I love
new
people
to this.
like you. Okay.
Thank you.
I love the tactical thinker, right? Because here, I'll fix this for you right now.
Okay.
Has it ever really been a tactic that stopped you from success?
No.
No. Because you can Google how to do anything. That's right. The question is never how. The question is always who. Who do you know who have demonstrated what it is that you're trying to do or that you're struggling with? Who do you know that knows how? If you're asking how, you have already failed because you don't know how. Wow. If you knew how, if you knew the tactics, Mr. Tactical, you would be doing it. So it's not tactics that stops people from success.
Yes.
People stop themselves from success. People. Yeah. And so that's why I'm saying I am a master at people problems. You know, you've heard me say this before. You cannot perform your own brain surgery. You can't see it. Right. And so you have to go to somebody so that you can see your reflection. That's the whole point of Genius Key. All it's showing is your own current thought state, your current reflection, and then you choose, is it working for you? And if the answer is no, then you drop into the learning module to pick up the key that will work for you. And then here's the big part, and Tara is a master at this, is what do I have to let go? You can't keep shoving all of this in your brain without releasing, because that causes stagnancy, right? Confusion of, I don't know what to do. There's so much in here. I don't know what to do. So when you learn and know better, you must remove what no longer serves you, whether that's thinking, whether that's people, whether that's environment. So every in must have an out, or you're setting yourself up to get stuck. So every new thought that I have, and I go, wow, that's awesome. Then I go, okay, how does this new awareness conflict with what I knew a moment ago?
Right.
What do I have to move away from so that the new information can imprint and I don't repeat what is more comfortable, which is my habit, as I practice something new? Again, this whole tying it all together is not what small business do. They run.
Right.
If they would spend, literally, if they would spend 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the night setting up the brain for success, and then what I call is a mind sweep in the evening, what worked about today? What didn't work about today? And what am I going to do differently tomorrow? Start, stop, swap. What do I have to start doing because today some things didn't work? What am I going to stop doing because I absolutely know this is a pattern. I've seen this movie before. And what am I going to try to swap that I'm going to do differently? I do it every single day. I also do 1-1-1 every day for 35 years. 35 years. I've been doing that same behavior. That's why everybody is in my network or knows somebody in my network. Because for 35 years, 3-5, I have called somebody and said, hey, just checking on you. I want to know if you're okay. I don't want anything. Checking on you. 2, I give a gift every day, just like you're doing. You're giving out a book. Every day I give a gift in some form. It doesn't have to be crazy. Sometimes I just buy somebody a cup of coffee. Sure. I buy them lunch. I send them a book, whatever, a gift. And then I make a connection. I call somebody and I say, I really think you need to meet Ramon. And that consistency allows me to, with confidence, to say, if you don't know somebody who knows me, you're full of shit. Because I've been around that long. That long.
And you are massively well connected. Amilya, I want to package this in if it's a fit Genius Key. Somebody said in the chat, I did it's great. I'm glad I did the Genius Key. Well, some people don't know what the Genius Key is, so I feel very left out to some people. Amilya, I want you to go back and end this on these things, but I want to sandwich in the Genius Key, as I understand it, because I've taken it as well. I've signed up as a member. It can help with a lot of these things, I believe. Can you help us understand why this Genius is so important, but then particularly what is the Genius Key? And then people can go to the App Store to download it. Can you talk a bit about that so we understand that, please? I know it's a very important part of this.
100%. So what it's identifying, right? Identifying part of your identity, right, is what your genius is rooted in, right? What makes you a genius, right? It's the thing that you do that takes little to no effort. It's the thing that you've always been doing. It's not something that you were taught or you were learned. Right. It's innate instinct to you. And what are those keys and how do they apply to what it is you're trying to do?
Right.
Then it also identifies keys that are not going to work in your favor of what you're trying to do. So I'll give you an example about me. Okay. I have probably one of the fastest and strongest pace keys. I run very, very
You sure fast. Do, Amilya. You sure do.
But it feels normal to me. That's my state of normal. Right. And so prior to understanding this, I would wonder why people would burn out. I would wonder why they were like huffing and puffing, right? Because my normal is a stretch for somebody else.
For sure.
So I needed to learn that in a team environment or on some projects like financing, legal, systems, fast pace, not to my best interest. Not to my best interest. So I put somebody who's got a slower key in front of me to lead the pace of the project. Now, other things like hunting, sales, hunting, not farming, hunting sales, I'm awesome at, and I lead at my pace. But what I let the people around me know is, listen, we're going to sprint the next 10 days. It's going to be uncomfortable for you. You're going to feel overly tired. I need you to take care of your hierarchy needs because what I require at this pace, you need more. So that we're clearly understanding that I'm asking more than their natural state.
Right.
What they're asking me is to go a little bit slower than my natural pace. That causes me to trigger my survival. I think I'm dying. Ooh. Yeah. Whoa, means I feel like, whoa, hold on. What do you mean? Why? Right. And so this knowledge of your keys, of what's working for you, what's not working for you, more importantly than anything else, it gives you team, right? Your project to team leader. Which member of your team needs to lead and why?
Yeah.
And what does that mean for everybody else? Even if you're a solopreneur, right? I love this game. I literally used to have a jacket, a sweat. I had all these little dress up costumes in my office of party of one. And when I needed to be the accountant, I put on my blazer and I would do my bill collection, right? I'd be that I would be right? And then when I needed to be sales, I was like, I had my little Letterman sweater on, like, hey, how you doing? I put on the different roles to get my mind in the frame of what I needed to do. Like I do this with doctors all the time. The white lab coat, right? Super professional, but that will kill you if they're trying to run their business, right? So they have to put on another persona, right? And we've talked about that. A lot of people have nicknames
Sure.
for the different personalities of what they want to do. So Genius Key is giving you insights of your current thought state, so you know what is working and what is not working, and then who to pair with so that you can have a stronger impact and a shorter road to the success in that one area.
So ideally, if somebody was a team of 2, team of 3, team of 5, whatever it is, people should take it as a group, as it were. Don't cheat and, but look at it as a group, and then come back, maybe have a discussion or something like that and say, hey, what's your key? What's your key? Now we can fit better. Here's why there's so much conflict. We're matched wrong. Is that?
Yeah, and we're doing free decoding sessions on Wisdom and in Clubhouse. Literally, Genius Key, come in, you tell me what your results are, and I'll tell you why it matters to you, what to keep, what to stop, what to swap, who you need to partner with. Like, we're giving out all of these answers on how to do that. And then the next download of Genius Key, if you're signed up in the apps, the next iteration is coming, and we have 1,008 layers to come.
Wow. This is powerful. And so I recommend people go to the App Store, is the best place, Amelia, correct?
Oh, 100%. Don't go to any websites. Either go to Google Play if you're a Droid, or the Apple Store if you're an Apple user.
And I have mine here, but Genius Key, and I think in case there's more than one, Genius Key Institute is where you'll find it at, just so people know. I just want to pull this up here.
Yeah, just Genius Key. It's going to look like a little gold head.
Yeah.
Here it is. That's it.
Yeah.
Look how good you are.
Of course. I'm all into Amelia. So one question I'm having, Amelia, you see that high performers, thank you. Jennifer says that sounds awesome. Absolutely, Jennifer. Don't forget, take a look at the Genius Key, go to your app store, and Amelia's going to choose.
Regina's here too. Hi, Regina.
Woo, Regina's here as well. Take the Genius Key and see Amelia. She's giving these sessions out on Wisdom, which is the audio app, and on Clubhouse, and that she can help you with that as well when you take it. I'm curious, Amelia, is this unlocking this self-awareness, what high performance people have, such as I've studied them, not a lot, but I've read a lot of books and a lot of movies and documentaries, Navy SEALs, possibly the Michael Jordans, The Last Dance, something like this-ish? Is this kind of what they've been able to unlock, probably with help from trainers? Is this it, maybe?
Yeah, because so very high performers, their mindset is to do one thing better and master it, right? They're not generalists, right? High performers will tell you they do one thing. It's the messed up school systems that we're in that try to make us generalists. We're not wired as humans to ever be a generalist. That's what technology does. Technology rinses and repeats. A human is meant to live at its highest and best self, which is innovation, problem solving, right? Interpersonal, all that is where humans are meant to live.
Right.
But we're fighting the mindset of, if I made all A's and 1 D, right? Everybody tells you get better at that D. No, hire somebody. Turn the A into amazing, right? That's where you need to focus your efforts. Same thing with your children. Don't do that to them, because you're creating them to live in pain. When you grade yourself, that means you're comparing, and comparing is the kiss to death. I am the very best Amelia, and I suck at being a Ramon.
I guess that's true. No, you're right, Amelia. So those listening today, Amelia, those listening today, for sure, people should get the Genius Key on your app store. You've made us aware, and again, it's not fair in a 30-minute discussion. You made us aware that we probably have some limitations that we need to get around. Is there anything else we should be thinking of or doing? Or do you think, Amelia, by the fact that we're even more aware of it, that may be one of the keys to helping, by the fact that we're a little more aware today, thanks to your comments? Does that make sense? Like the boss today may be aware of it.
The number one thing, if you hear nothing else, and I don't care if you download the app or not, right? In this solopreneur space, being solo, you will fail. You will fail. You have to lean out of your comfort zone and ask for help. People, all people, 99.9% of people want to help, because when they help, they feel worthy, right? And so you just have to lean in and say, hey, listen, I'm seeing your social. I think it's amazing. Could you look at mine and lend some advice? Hey, I see that you're incredible with systems. I would love for you to take a look at my business and share, right? Trade services, right? If you're good at something, trade it for something else. Never solve a problem alone. It is the epitome of the mastermind. We are greater together than we are by themselves. I do nothing alone. Nothing alone. I'm always leaning in and going, this is what I'm seeing. What do you see? And then I always go, tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more about that. That's interesting. Tell me more. How did you come to that conclusion? What experience did you have that led to that conclusion? Get really curious. The more curious you are as a small business owner, the more successful you will be, because in the state of curiosity, you are not alone.
Wow. No, you're right, Amelia. I'm curious, and if this is a relevant question, but you've done so much in your years of experience in working with some big name celebrities. Maybe you work with people even you can't tell us you work with. Can you just tell us any stories on that? Meaning, I guess my question would be, how have you done this? What was your genius? What was your key that enabled you to be in some of the places that maybe people listening were like, wow, she's done so much.
Yeah.
What's so special about Amelia that I know you've done broadcast television, radio, you've done celebrities. Help us understand Amelia and what we can learn from that, if that makes sense.
I think that, you know, and let me just tell you, I have had some very painful lessons. I mean, like, knock the wind right out of your sails, like in the fetal snot cry position going, I have no idea how I got myself here and how I'm going to get out. Like, let's be clear, for every win you see on my resume, there was 10, oh my goodness, failures. So I win big, but I fail even bigger, right? And so what I will tell you is what I had to learn the hard way. I will say this is my $11 million lesson. I had to learn the hard way that none of this is about me. None of it is about me. And I am fortunate that I am now surrounded with people who are committed to the work. I don't care if you ever know who I am. What I do care about is that you know my work, because my work will continue. I always tell my people, if I get hit by a bus today, carry on. The legacy is about the work. The legacy is to heal unattended pain. That's the reason why I'm doing this. So when I removed Amelia and the I, and I made it about you, my whole world changed.
That is powerful, Amelia. I think that's powerful. And I think that I've been amazed to see how you move, how fast you move. And I think one other question I have for Amelia, why is it so important? I know some key people in our mutual lives and other things that you've flown to and met people in person. You spent time with people. Why has that been so important to you, Amelia? I'm sure you're not doing everybody you meet, but it seems like there's
I'm
picking up a thread.
Yes, yes, it is. So my belief system, this is what I've learned about people. Right? Like it or not like it, because I'll just prepare you before I open up my mouth. Everybody here's going to go, oh my God, I can't believe she just said that. I spend money and time with people very quickly, right? Time is your most valuable asset.
Sure.
And money. And so I spend money with people to figure out who absolutely is full of crap, right? And what I mean by that is, you know, people say they're this and that they're the other thing. And then I hire them. And then that $5,000 saved me millions. And so just even in our little world, I've spent money with a lot of people that, and guess what? They're not on my team. I wonder why. There's a reason why, right? Now, that's not to say I'm better or worse, but for what I'm trying to do in my business plan, right, where I'm going, the pace that I'm going, it wasn't a good fit. So the sooner you know that, the better, because you would rather have $100 lesson, $1,000 lesson, because it's going to cost you the longer you're in it. So don't wait for the $25,000 lesson, because every one of those lessons that I've had, there was a sign along the way that it wasn't going to work, right? It's that hope. You hope more for others than they're willing to sacrifice.
Sure.
So when you have to realize that I can't love you more than I love myself. I can't believe in you as a teammate more than you believe in yourself. What I can do is I can be honest. And I can go, I see so much potential in you, but here's what I believe might get in the way of our relationship. How do we think we're going to handle that?
Wow. Amelia, that is, somebody said it here. I'm going to find it again. Mic drop moment.
Thank you. I don't know who said that.
That was Lisa Conda. You can thank her.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, this is a hard journey. It is.
Yeah.
Okay. This is for the road less traveled. But we're in the gig economy now. Starting a business now is the smartest thing that you can do. So if you don't want to have all of the load to carry, if you don't want all of the pain points, if you don't want to do it alone, and that's okay. Listen, we're partnership animals. We're really not meant to do anything alone. Team up with an entrepreneur that is a little bit ahead of you, right? There's power in partnership. There's power, right, in the collective. So get together and figure out what your keys are, who's going to lead what, and run hard together. But now is the time. Now is the time, because you're ahead of it. Right now, you're ahead of it. In a minute, it's going to be very noisy and very crowded. So do it now, right? Like what you're offering, Ramon, when you get side by side with people and your community, you're side by side with other people that are just like you. Just like you. And you can go, hey, you can't talk to your employees. You can't go, listen, I'm really wondering how we're going to do payroll. You can't do that. You can't do that. And I remind people that I say you're not an entrepreneur until you've charged payroll on your credit card. When you've charged payroll on your credit card, you call me, right? Because that is entrepreneurship. That is what it is. That is when you're sitting there going, I have no idea how Friday payroll's going out. Not a clue. Not a clue at all. Right. And so when you're in a network like what you have with other business owners, they're saying to you, here's something I've done. Here's something I've done. Here's something. I mean, I've even been in communities, my forum group, which God bless my forum group, where I'm like, hey, listen, can I borrow today and I'll pay you tomorrow so that you can do my payroll? And then this is what it is. You got to get side by side with people who are committed to figuring it out, not quitting, figuring it out. Keep pushing. The answer is there.
Wow. Amilya Antonetti, you are a treasure trove of gold, diamonds, and platinum and everything else. I thank you for your time. The fact that I'm not going to cry right now, but you said yes to Ramon.
I adore you, Ramon. I think you are a superstar. I always say that there is nobody who responds faster than you do. And that's part of your character. I know that if I ask you something, it's done. And that will give you respect all the way up the food chain. Because remember, we all know each other and we talk. And so when somebody says something about Ramon, I'm like, oh man, that man is Johnny on the spot. If he says so, it is. You can take it to the bank. And that type of reputation, it's golden. It's golden. So thank you for all that you do. And I am honored to call you friend.
Amelia, wow. I'm gonna put that on replay and just have my morning alarm. Amelia Antonetti, everybody, thank you so much. Definitely check out all she does. Genius Key.
Download the app. Download the app.
Genius Key Institute for sure. And we'll be pushing that out later on. Amelia Antonetti, thank you, my dear. Appreciate your time with us.
Thank you. Blessed to know you.